So, you want to be a motivational speaker? Well, welcome to my Wednesday show, Purpose, Passion, Power. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about how to become a motivational speaker. Well, first of all, thank you very much for all the emails, lovely emails that you have sent me. Some of you have gone and found out my mobile number. Thank you for all the SMSs and WhatsApp messages. But amongst all of the appreciation, I have also got loads of emails of people complaining about their lot, telling me how miserable they are and how difficult things are for them and how they don't think they can ever make it. Well, let me tell you, the first criteria of being a motivational speaker, of being a leader, is that you just stop complaining. Just stop it. Do not complain. Put that poster in bold in your room, write it on your mirror, no complaint zone. And that is 10 meters radius wherever you are is a no complaint zone. Because you see, a motivational speaker, a leader, a parent, anybody who aspires to be in the position of authority, in the position of power, is a solver. He's the person who even solves other people's problems. How can you be a motivational speaker or a leader if you're overwhelmed by your own? What does a motivational speaker do? He goes or she goes and solves or attempts to make other people's lives better, and it starts with your own. Remember that. So I urge you to stop complaining with immediate effect even to me. Please do not write your complaints about life to me, and don't, I forbid you to even tell it to others, because you see, ek din aap bade ban jayenge. One day you will rise to a very high position. Some of you may even become professional motivational speakers, and that day these people are going to say, acha abhi देखो कैसे बात करता है, but he used to come to me, you know, he was so low, I used to explain to him, कितनी बार तो मैंने इसको कॉफ़ी पिलाई, कितनी बार तो मैंने इसे समझाया. Is that the kind of testimonial that you want going out about your life? No, you want people to testify for you that I have seen this guy struggle with grace. I have seen him when he was at his lowest low, or she was at the lowest point of her life, and she made it from there. And if he or she can make it, then she is the right person to advise you. These are the people closest to you should be the ones who come to you asking for help. And if you are the one who's going and laying out your sob story to them, well, you have already cancelled your ticket to becoming a motivational speaker, to becoming a leader, to becoming anybody in the position of authority. And why are we so afraid of a bad time? I mean, what can you lose really? I mean, what is that lowest low that people are petrified of, that they are so scared to take risks or dare to dream to succeed because they are afraid to fail? ऐसा क्या हो जाएगा when you fail? चलो, go and fail, go and lose everything. At least पता तो पड़ेगा what happens when you are rock bottom. At least you're sitting on a rock and it's not that bad. And trust me, I tell you this out of personal experience, it's not so bad to lose. It's not so bad to be broke. It's not so bad to have failed temporarily. And I say it's important. At least you'll be familiar. So next time around, you won't be afraid, because you would know, acha, if I lose all my money, if I lose my position, to yehi hoga na. This is where I would be. And in being there, in having survived that, you've also made peace with it. Anybody who has failed, who has been a really big failure, he no longer fears it. And especially the one who didn't go about complaining, but who had the grit to make it go right. You know, the people who rise from the ashes, you can't scare them to lose anymore, because they know how to do it again. And people who turn to ash and never rise, well, they are living in that failure. They are not going to be afraid to lose because they have lost. And I feel everybody, like they deserve their 4 minutes or 4 moments of glory. They should also have at least 4 nights of their darkest failures. At least wo dar nikal jayega of failing. You see, I have always been a top ranker in my whole life. I always stood first. I've always been an achiever. I've always been a go-getter. And therefore, for me to lose was very important. For me to understand what happens when you have nothing, what happens when you have lost your money, where you are on ground zero. How do you live and survive that day was an important lesson for me to learn, so I can go out and conquer greater heights. I'm not scared of failure because I have already seen the darkest times and I no longer am afraid. You know, when I started my career as a motivational speaker, I spoke about this in the last episode. I was a tuition teacher. I had so much money. I had a great reputation. I taught for 9 years, over 1900 students. I was established. But when I started my career as a motivational speaker, I was a nobody. In the corporate industry, I was a nobody. And you know, when you're used to that kind of success and you're used to an image and you're used to respect and you're used to saying, oh, I am Priya Kumar and your children are in my hands, and you get that kind of respect, and then you go somewhere and say, I am Priya Kumar, and the person says, who? Priya Kumar, who? So that is daunting. It hits you like a tight slap across your face that why am I here? Why am I doing this to myself? Isse acha to go back to my life of teaching. And that's why people feel like a fish out of water when they make that switch, because in making that switch they have to leave this comfortable ground and start the hustle again. And I will tell you, it was not just that I started from ground zero. I had no money left. I have been very elaborate in telling you how I invested, I won't say lost, how I invested all of my money in my business, and I was left with nothing. I was left with enough money to allow me a choice whether I should eat food or fill fuel in my car. I needed my car's tank to be full because I needed to get places, because in Bombay everything is far, and I needed just enough food to keep me going for the day. And I was so bad with finances, I was so bad with money that I would go to the ATM. At least I knew how to operate an ATM card. I would put in my card, and let's say I would take out 2,000 rupees and there was 5,000 balance. It would give me some figure and 7,000. And you know what? For weeks I said every time I withdraw money from the bank, my balance grows. Actually, it was overdraft. I didn't even know that. You see, you will not know everything. It's impossible for you to first go and know everything and then start, because when you start, the world would have changed. Please understand that whether you and I change or not, the world is going to change, and the best lesson, the best training is on the job. I have learned finances on the job. There was one day I got a call from the bank, hey, you have gone over the limit of the overdraft. And that's the first time I understood what is overdraft. I had not only exhausted all of my money, I was in debt and I didn't even know it. But did I go complaining to people? Did I go telling them my sob story? No, because these are the people who I needed to endorse me. And you know, the people closest to you, if you have their support, if you have their respect, my God, you will rise to a position of leadership faster than you can imagine, because these are the people who need to be in alignment to give you a platform of confidence to go out and conquer the world. And these are the people who are hardest to impress because they know the truth about you. Show them that truth about you, that you're a survivor, that you're not a complainer, that you can straighten up your life no matter how low in the basement and down the rungs that you have found yourself to be, that you can climb up. And also, let me tell you, when you are at your lowest low, some of you will find yourselves there to be. The privileged ones will find themselves there to be at their lowest low. Don't go asking people for money as a favor. That's the worst thing that you can do. Ask for money. If you must ask for money, say, I will pay you back at so and so date with interest. Please do not take favors when you are low. Have some pride, have some confidence, have some self-respect to know that you are going to make it one day and decide which that day would be. So if I'm going to come and ask you for money, I should tell you that, look boss, look sir, look ma'am, and look whoever that is that you are, this kind person, I need money from you to invest into my business. I'm going to pay the money back to you on 21st April with 10% interest. And you say, no Priya, le lo. No, this is business and I know I'm going to make a profitable one, and therefore I want to deal with you professionally. I know you're a friend of mine, I know you're a very kind person, but I would like to involve you in my purpose, and here is the 10% interest that I would pay you, and then honor your word. Don't take favors. You will thank me for that later, because one day these people, when you become really big, and look, if you're watching this video and you have listened so far, I know you want to be big, and that day there will be enough people telling you, अरे ये तो कुछ भी नहीं था, मेरे पास आया था पैसे मांगने, मैंने दिए पैसे, you know, और इतना में रोया, and so on, so he did. Oh, they will add 20 more stories to it, and they will take full credit and claim of the person that you have become today. The bank can't claim that. Hey, a professional setup cannot claim that, because you paid them. It was an investment, and there is no need to, you know, build that stage of how you're suffering and how terrible things are and what a favor that person will do. Skip that. You don't go and tell that to a bank, right? You don't give them your sob story. You just go and ask for the money and commit to pay the interest. Do that. And please do not go looking for favors when it comes to asking for knowledge. Don't tell people, can you train me, can you teach me, can I work under you, and blah blah blah, and again start a sob story. Please stop with all these sob stories. You are only damaging your future. Be a professional, and see, if you want knowledge to empower your career where you are going to take money in exchange, then ensure that you give the money to the person today who you are asking knowledge from. It's called Guru Dakshina. All artists, every education form demands that you pay the teacher, demands that you pay the institution. Be professional. Otherwise, people will take credit for that also. They will say, "Arey, he to learned under me. I did a favor on him." You don't want that, because you see, the day you stand up and there are 6 people claiming your victory, I, as your audience, I want to go to those people who have made you. You understand the gravity of the situation. Keep your respect. Be professional from your own foundation. Be professional at your own beginning. Do not take favors. It is going to backfire on you so big that you cannot go back and clear up and erase. Now you can't say, hey, how much money do you want? You think you did a favor on me? Here's the money. Start today. Even if somebody says, let me help you set this up, say, what can I do for you in return? How much can I pay you? Because I am a professional, because I am not going to go out and speak for free, because I'm going to take money in exchange. So therefore, I'm not going to take your knowledge for free. What you do will come back to you. And don't worry if you're not making money. Don't worry if you don't have enough finances to live by comfortably. Be uncomfortable. It's a great place to be. When you're doing something great, something big, when you're trying to make changes in your life, heck, even if you want to lose some weight and you go on a diet and start exercising, it's uncomfortable, right? The same thing is for your financial future. The same thing is for the future for your career. It will be uncomfortable, and be ready for that. In the early days, when I had made that shift from being a tuition teacher to a motivational speaker, I ran out of all my money. All my savings were gone. They reached a point where I did not have the money to pay my secretary. And I told her one day, I said, look, I cannot afford you. So this is the last 2 weeks that we will be working together. And I still remember we were going for a meeting, and we stopped at a petrol pump, and I had just filled fuel for 50 rupees or 100 rupees. I didn't even have enough money to go full tank. Okay. And then at that same time, I got a call from my brother. My brother lives in America, and he had just moved to America at that time. He was studying then. So while I was talking to him, I asked him, "Bhai, do you need any money? Can I help you? Kuch paise bheju? Kuch zarurat hai?" And while I'm telling him this, my secretary is looking at my face that, are you mental? You just told me you don't have money to pay me, and now you're asking your brother if he needs money or kuch paise bheju. So when I hung up the call, the way she looked at me, my God, either you're a fantastic liar and you're lying, you don't have money to pay me, निकालना है तो निकाल दो, झूठ क्यों बोल रहे हो? So she gave me that look, and I told her, look, my brother is in America. he cannot know that I'm suffering. He's younger to me. I can't bother him with that. So, इससे पहले कि वो मुझसे पूछे कैसा चल रहा है, and I have to explain to him, I asked him, do you need any money? I didn't say I have the money. And thank God he never asked me for money. Otherwise, I don't know what would happen. So, keep some self-respect. Be graceful. Yeah, don't take your problems and put it on other people's shoulders, especially those who care and worry about you. Don't you have so many problems of your own? Don't I have so many problems of my own? And when I find out that a friend, a loved one is suffering, it increases my own. Why do you want to burden people? That's not why you want to be a leader. That's not why you want to be a motivational speaker. You want to be so because you want to help others. Please help them by not complaining to them, by not making them a part of your own suffering and negativity. Deal with it yourself. It's not that difficult. And if you have a financially bad time, then you are blessed. Let me tell you, I was this is now when my assistant was let go of. I was driving from town to Andheri, and you know what, my car stopped right a signal before Siddhivinayak. Why did my car stop? Because there was no fuel, and I did not have the money to put fuel again. So I let the car go. I don't have money, and I was looking everywhere under the mat and so on. कहीं पैसे गिर गए होंगे. I collected enough chiller which would give me enough money to go home by bus. And by the way, I couldn't even afford the full bus ride. I could afford the bus ride to 3/4 the distance to my house. That's the little piddly amount of money I had, and I was very close to Siddhivinayak. And those of you who have been watching my videos know that I have this relationship with God where I pray to him to test him. It's a funny relationship. अब सिद्धिविनायक के पास थे, so I said okay, मौका भी है, पैसे भी नहीं है, and it is the right time now to go and pray once again. So I go to Siddhivinayak, alright, and this is the first time I'm going to Siddhivinayak. So I remove my shoes, I go inside, and I have enough money for the bus, and I said, Chodo, let me not just put the money, he has enough. And I had just enough money to go home by bus, so मैंने पैसे नहीं चढ़ाया. I did not put the money because I already knew I was going to walk 1/4 the distance home. So I sat there and prayed and said, okay, please allow me the grace at least. Chalo, if you're not going to help me, at least give me that much grace and strength that I survive this. Okay, now when I come out of Siddhivinayak, I'm looking for my shoes, and my shoes are gone. So I don't have the money to go back home, and now I don't have shoes. Yeah, and while I look there, I don't know if you have ever been in a situation of breakdown where you have taken so much with a smile, and all it needed was somebody to steal your shoes for this whole dam of tears to flow and for you to start howling like a dog. And I don't cry. I do not cry in public. Maybe very, very rarely. I mean, not many people have seen me cry. But that day I had reached a threshold. My car was parked on the street. I had no money to eat that night, and now I had to take a bus and walk back home, and somebody stole my shoes. So I remember I just stood there looking at the wall, and I started to cry so loudly. Okay, and then this little boy comes to me and he says, क्या हुआ, आपका जूता नहीं मिल रहा है? Yeah, he says, what happened? You can't find your shoes, is it? That little boy had stolen my shoes, and then he saw me cry and howl, and at least he had, what do you call that little bit of humanity to see that somebody was crying because of his misdeed. I feel that every person who does wrong should also confront the victim to see what pain that person has caused him. For him, it could be a steal. For him, it is money. But when they see the tears in the other person's eyes, when they see the depth of the pain that they have caused them, I think everybody would change over to a new leaf, because as human beings, I refuse to believe that our intention is to hurt. And sometimes we do that without knowing the impact. Anyways, that is a different philosophy. So this little boy comes to me and says, "Aapke joote nahi mil rahe." I looked at him and I'm like, he took it. I didn't answer him, and I started to walk. And I'm wiping my tears and I'm walking, and this fellow is walking with me. क्या हुआ दीदी, जूते नहीं मिल रहे? And then he says, आपके वो जूते थे ना काले वाले? And he went and he got my shoes because he felt so bad. I could see it in his eyes. And when you've hit rock bottom, when you have nothing more to ask of God also? When you have no money, when you don't have money to eat, you don't have money to go home, then you say कि ले लो, अब ये भी ले लो, घड़ी भी ले लो, क्या चाहिए, हाँ क्या चाहिए और क्या चाहिए, ये भी ले लो. You are so angry with the world. So I told him, तुमने चोरी किया ना, ले लो, रख लो, नहीं चाहिए मुझे. And I started to walk. Now he is running with me. He said, नहीं, मुझे तो वहाँ, आपने वहाँ उतारे थे, मुझे वहाँ मिले. And I'm telling him, रख लो तुम. Then while he is walking with me, I asked him, कितने में बेचता मेरे जूते? Yeah, so he says, 50 रुपए मिलते. He's looking at my shoes and telling me he would get 50 rupees. That's when I stopped and I said, what? You would sell my shoes, which I paid 3,500 for 50 rupees? These were expensive shoes which I had ordered from America when I was rolling in money. And that little boy, he looked at the shoes and said, पहले पता होता 3,500 के तो मैं सर पे रख के चलता. Yeah, that he was appalled that the shoes were that expensive. But here is what I'm trying to tell you, that even in my hardest time, and by the way, I gave that fellow money, yeah, because we started chatting and we were having a talk. I went by bus halfway home and I walked in those ridiculous shoes of 3,500 with big heels. I had blisters, I had to take them off and walk barefoot home. So I have been through that, and today when I stand in this position, and if you ask me, do you fear to fail? No. I know what will happen. The worst come to worst, I have my 2 feet, I can walk home. And you know what? I used to eat so less, I would eat once a day. And it's not that I was starving or I was sick. Oh, I was so sharp. And I do research onto health, and 16-hour fasting should be a way of life. I think everybody should be poor. Everybody should lose some money once in a while. Your health will straighten up. It's called intermittent fasting. Look it up. 16 hours, no food, no water, and you will be at the peak of your health, not just physically but also mentally. So on a parting note, let me tell you this: if you're afraid to fail, please go and fail. You have my blessings, because when you hit rock bottom, when you hit your lowest low, you will find out who you are. You have no money, you will really find out who you are. When you have no identity yet, you can make any identity for yourself. There is great power in a place of nothingness. Don't be afraid. You can build everything from there. It's a place of possibilities. And if it breaks you, if falling breaks you, well, then you weren't meant to be a motivational speaker or a leader. And let me also tell you one truth, that if you don't make it when you fall and when you fail, you will become a story and example for others to kill their dreams, because you will be quoted by other people. देखा उनका क्या हुआ, उनकी कहानी नहीं सुनी, हाँ इतने सपने थे, so much he wanted to do, he dared, he rebelled, and look what he happened, he never got up again. So whether you make it or not, you will be quoted, you will go down in history to discourage. And I say, make it even if you don't want to be a motivational speaker. Yours will be a story to inspire others. Don't you do that. Don't you quote other people's lives. Don't you quote the struggles of people who made it. Similarly, the people who didn't make it are being quoted more often by people who want to kill other people's dreams. I would say, at your lowest low, show so much grace, so much self-respect, so much confidence and faith into a future that when people look at you, they lose their fear of failure. That is the power of leadership and of a motivational speaker. So I hope this helps, and please know, no matter where you are, I am there with you, I am there for you, and I am rooting for you, because if you have heard so far, I know I am a believer that you are a believer, and the world awaits your story. So until next Wednesday, more power to you.